Cheers. I must say, damn good stuff, sir. Welcome, Climo Custom Guitars, episode 4, Hephaestus, great guitar build off 2021. We're done. C'est fini. Finale, finito. It's complete. And it's magnificent. I never could have imagined owning a guitar like this. You know, let alone I've made it. I think that was when it was all done, and I plugged it in and I had to play. And yeah, the intonation's out, of course, you know. Of course the intonation's out, because I haven't even tried to set it yet. I just strung it up, and I had to hear him sound, and yeah, I was just in disbelief for about 8 hours that was my guitar now, forgetting the fact that I'd made it. So, just, yeah, an absolute kind of disbelief, really, and it's just kind of setting in. I mean, there's still a lot to talk about, but even so, it shouldn't be a particularly long one, this one. So, let's crack through it and tell you how we got to where we got to. So, right, yeah, so the bridge ferrules, I think they're called ferrules? Ferrules might only be the little things you plug in through the back for a string through body. But anyway, the post bits that the posts go into, I'm just going to call them ferrules for now. You know what I mean, and if not, you Google it. So the post ferrules, the tunematic. Yeah, I don't mind imperial when it works. When you can do things in halves and quarters and, you know, but when something's 3/8, when are you ever going to do 3/8 of anything? Unless it's like you're a bit hungry and you're having 3/8 of a packet of hot dogs. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. So the bridge post ferrules. Yeah, despite the fact that I had the 11mm drill bit for 11mm post ferrules, yeah, I'm fairly certain that everything in Europe has just been sourced from the United States or have been sourced from overseas but made to United States specifications and then sold with, well, we're just going to call it non-USA because it's, what is it, Libya, Burma and the United States still use old money. That even though I gave it a little bit of jiggle on the way in and out, misses, that somehow it didn't quite fit. So I just started hitting a little bit harder, and then that didn't work. So I hit a little bit harder again, and then I started to get a little bit paranoid, so I put a cloth in between my hitting block, and I got out like my big hammer, and I hit it even harder. And I got the first one pretty much in. Yeah, in enough. The ferrule posts at first didn't look like they were going to go in. They went in with about 1 mil proud. Yeah, and I wasn't really sure what more I could do. I then waited until it was cold and a bit more humid. We luckily, being, you know, pretty much almost the middle of summer, we did get a couple of really cold days, about 13 degrees. I had left the window open and I came back and attacked it again, and boom, in they slotted. So, I mean, at this point, some of the more exciting, sexy stuff about the design and what makes the guitar unique, you know, that stuff's pretty much over at this point because we're mostly dealing with assembling the thing. So in goes my new nut, which I then filed down from the strings. So filing down the nuts, started drilling holes for the machine heads, the logo neck plate I've got, and the pickup rings. Now the pickup rings are not straight, they're not meant to be, right? I've sort of angled them away to, you know, try and bring the high ends on the bridge down and vice versa on the neck. So they're only slightly done because I don't want to overdo it, obviously, but also in the wiring I did something to kind of compound the effect, so I didn't want to do it too much. But so if it doesn't look perfectly symmetrical, it's not meant to. It never was. It was never in the design. It's not a mistake I've covered for. It was. You can go back to the earlier videos and you can see where I've measured and marked out and lined it all up. Yeah, the machine heads. Again, the spacing on those might look a little off. the spacing on those is for playability and for stability. So rather than trying to make the placement of them look all perfectly uniform and then having the strings needing to divert from the nut to, you know, make up for wherever they've ended up, lines were essentially drawn in as straight of a line as possible, because this is a tunematic roller bridge with a Bigsby on it, so you need the strings, basically you want them as straight as possible. For that reason as well, I've installed Wilkinson locking nuts, locking tuners you might call them, as well. So all these things kind of together should give me the best stability for my tone and my intonation, and improve the sound as much as possible. So with the machine heads, the logo, and pickup rings all installed and everything tested, I could start soldering. Now the soldering for Hephaestus is I originally said P90s, I changed my mind on that very, very early on and kind of forgot to update everyone. So I got some Iron Gear Blues Engine twin humbuckers. So those twin humbuckers are wired in series, individual tone and volume pots. The reason for this is that I've never liked the fact that with any guitar I've ever had, it will come with 2, if not 3 pickups. Maybe it's got a selector switch, but then everything goes through the same tone and the same volume knob. Why? Like, that is defining your sound for you. Right up the top, you have absolutely no control over it other than to make it, or to remove some high end and make it all quieter. Nah, bugger that. Right, individual tone and volume allows me to do something that I've never been able to do, which is use the bridge pickup. Just about every single bridge pickup I've ever had or used or seen or played, it is too tinny, it is too harsh on the ears. And it's all this, right? It's trying to basically rein that back in. It's like trying to throw a tarp over a giant hedgehog that's inflatable and flying away in a storm. But it also, to me, just doesn't sound very nice. So, having individual tone and volume controls means that I can blend the two together by putting their volumes up and down, and I can control the tone on each individual pickup. So I can turn down and roll off the high end on the bridge pickup, and then pretty much leave the neck pickup where it is, but maybe turn down the volume of that a little bit, and I can blend the two together. And as I've sort of later demonstrated, that sounds so good. So I said before about I would compound the work done by angling the bridge pickup, which is that I installed a treble bleed mod to, again, allow me to turn down the volume on the bridge, but keep whatever kind of crunch I have introduced. And yeah, I can't solder for shit. Don't get me wrong, my connections are beautiful. They are smooth and solid, and they wouldn't look out of place on a circuit board, right, on a computer or something. But bloody hell, my cable management, it might as well have been run by Matt Hancock. Right? It's just absolute bloody mess. But anyway, he was all wired up. He was all ready to go. So I sat down and I played him. I sat down and I tested the pickups. And oh no! It didn't work.
Bridge pickup. Totally fine. Seems to also be picking up some of the bridge pickup.
And I rattled my brain to think what I could have done wrong. Did I miswire something? And then I was reminded of something, which was that as I was tightening the nut on the three-way switch itself rotated a little bit. I didn't think too much of it. And what I had in fact done was when I realized that when I flicked the switch up, the signal died. So what I ended up doing there was I grounded the neck pickup signal, the hot signal. So all I had to do was twist that back into its place, secure it in place, tighten the nut very tightly, keep it there, and then just to make sure that never happened again, I put a little bit of electrical tape on the area in the inside the cavity where that may ever touch again if the same thing was happening. But it shouldn't, so I sorted that out. Also, the jack was fucky. If anyone can recommend a place, maybe in Europe ideally, which has been doing and selling like proper components, I would like to know that. Thank you. Right, so once that was all fixed, isolated, it was really just about the finer stuff. So I learnt and practiced on a spare neck, and I crowned, polished and level sanded my frets. I then also gave the neck I protected the neck with, after I'd burnt it, I protected it with some Crimson Guitars wipe-on finishing oil. So with everything done, I gave it a quick tidy. So just cleaning up some glue that had spilt out when I glued the neck in, and another final polish, and it was done. And here we are. And I mean, considering the point of this series was to make and demonstrate a working guitar, well, it would be only one thing left for you to do. Steglitz.